A large passenger aircraft glides majestically through the skies above Chicago O'Hare International Airport. In the cockpit, Emily Thompson maintains her usual calm demeanor as she communicates with the tower. With 10 minutes until landing, she takes a deep breath and gazes at the clouds floating in the blue sky. "I'm so grateful to have a job where I can see views like this every day." As these thoughts cross her mind, she reflects on her childhood memories. When Emily was 7, her father James would take her to the annual Chicago Air Show. The little girl was completely captivated by the sight of fighter jets and acrobatic planes performing spectacular maneuvers against the cloudless blue sky. "Daddy, how can I become someone who flies those planes?" "Well, sweetie, there aren't many female pilots yet." "It would be a very challenging path," her father gently explained, but Emily's eyes didn't lose their sparkle. "I'm going to become a pilot." Though surprised by his daughter's determination, her father saw the strong will in her eyes and slowly nodded. "All right then. Do your best." From that day forward, Emily threw herself into her studies with remarkable dedication. She consistently ranked at the top of her class in science and mathematics. After school, she would visit the library, devouring books on aerodynamics and meteorology. Her parents took pride in their daughter's efforts and supported her in every way they could. However, not everyone in the family supported her dream. Sarah, Emily's younger sister by 2 years, wasn't pleased with her sister's ambitions. Sarah had been naturally beautiful since childhood and was used to being the center of attention. But their parents' conversations always seemed to revolve around Emily. Gradually, a twisted jealousy took root in the younger sister's heart. "All you ever do is study, sis. It's so unladylike." When Sarah entered middle school, she began deliberately spreading rumors about Emily among her classmates. "You know what? My sister's such a plain geek, just like a boy. She'll never get a boyfriend that way." Sarah always had a group of followers around her. These girls would hide Emily's textbooks and spread baseless rumors about her. At home, Sarah never hesitated to point out Emily's flaws in front of their parents. "Look at sis, always wearing jeans and hoodies. She should dress better. Mom, buy me new clothes. I don't want to look as unfashionable as her." Though Emily was hurt by her sister's behavior, she had no intention of giving up her dream. If anything, the uncomfortable atmosphere at home only strengthened her focus on studying. She spent more time at the library, and her grades improved even further. As high school approached, Emily made a big decision. She decided to attend an aviation-focused high school in Arizona, far from her home in Illinois. While her parents were sad to see their daughter leave, they respected her decision. Sarah, on the other hand, was genuinely happy about her sister's departure. "Finally, our family can be normal." On moving day, Sarah waved goodbye with a smile. Emily understood the true feelings behind her sister's expression, but it didn't bother her anymore. Her heart was full of excitement for the new life ahead. Life in Arizona was like heaven for Emily. She met others who shared her dreams, and they pushed each other to improve as they pursued their goals. Though female students were indeed a minority, this only strengthened her determination. With her excellent high school grades, Emily gained admission to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. These 4 years would become the most fulfilling period of her life. It was a continuous series of rigorous training and examinations. Though she nearly gave up several times, each time she remembered the blue sky she had seen as a child. Eventually, her efforts paid off. Emily obtained her commercial pilot's license and secured a position with a major airline. In the 8 years since leaving home, she had maintained regular contact with her parents but remained distant from Sarah. Still, she occasionally heard about her sister's life through their parents. Sarah had graduated from a local community college and was working in ground operations for an airline. She still lived at home and spent her weekends shopping with friends. Emily returned to her hometown after completing her first flight as a pilot. Landing at the airport just 30 minutes from her family home on a Chicago-bound flight, she reunited with her parents while in uniform. Tears glistened in her father's eyes. "Well done. You've done so well." Her mother, equally moved, embraced her daughter. Sarah watched this scene from a distance with cold eyes. The 8-year gap had only deepened the divide between the sisters. However, Emily's life was about to enter a new chapter. Meeting Michael Porter, a maintenance engineer working for the same airline, would dramatically change her destiny. Working for a major airline based in Chicago, Emily steadily built her career. Though female pilots were still a minority and sometimes faced prejudice, her solid skills and calm judgment earned high praise from those around her. Then an unexpected turning point arrived in her life. It happened during a routine aircraft inspection. Emily was having a pre-flight meeting with maintenance engineer Michael Porter. He was around her age and known for his conscientious work ethic. "I'm scheduled for the 8 a.m. Chicago to San Francisco flight. Are there any concerns I should know about?" "No, everything's normal. But would you like to go over the details over coffee?" Michael's invitation was sudden. However, Emily found herself nodding, impressed by his sincere manner. Their conversation at the airport cafe shifted from work to personal matters. Michael revealed that he too had once aspired to become a pilot. However, unable to pass the examinations, he chose to work in aviation as a maintenance engineer instead. "Seeing a female pilot like you makes me wonder if I should have tried harder. But maintenance engineering is just as important. We pilots can only fly safely because of the work you engineers do." Emily's words seemed to deeply resonate with Michael. Over the next 2 years, they naturally grew closer and became a couple. With their shared foundation in aviation, they could understand and support each other's work. Emily believed this was true love. Then one evening, while enjoying dinner at a restaurant overlooking Chicago Bay, Michael took out a velvet box from his pocket. "Emily, will you marry me? Nothing would make me happier than spending my life with an amazing woman like you." Looking at the sparkling diamond engagement ring, Emily answered, yes, without hesitation. Her parents were overjoyed when they heard about the engagement. A date was set for both families to meet, and Emily would have dinner with her entire family at her childhood home for the first time in 8 years. "So, Michael, I hear you work in aviation. Sarah addressed him in a sweet voice at the family gathering. 8 years had transformed her into an even more attractive woman. Her designer dress stood in stark contrast to Emily's simple pantsuit. Yes, I work as a maintenance engineer. Oh, how wonderful. But do you work at the same place as my sister? There must be lots of women there. There seemed to be something calculated about Sarah's questions. Emily frowned but kept quiet, seeing how pleased her parents were with the conversation. However, Sarah's behavior became increasingly obvious. She sat next to Michael, leaning unnecessarily close and speaking in a seductive voice. Even their parents noticed, clearing their throats several times in warning. Sarah, that's enough. This is an engagement celebration. Brushing off their mother's admonishment, Sarah replied brazenly. We're going to be family soon, aren't we? There's no harm in getting closer. After that evening, Michael's attitude began to change gradually. He canceled more dates with Emily and stopped answering her calls. His social media posts decreased, as if he were being careful about something. Feeling uneasy, Emily began a discreet investigation. She discovered concerning posts on Sarah's social media, photos of Michael relaxing at upscale restaurants, captioned, "A lovely evening with a wonderful person." An indescribable anxiety spread through Emily's chest. Could her sister and fiancé be? It didn't take long for her suspicions to become certainty. One day, Sarah contacted her unexpectedly. "Sis, we need to talk. Can we meet at the diner on the west side this Saturday?" Emily accepted the invitation, not knowing it would become a turning point in her destiny. That Saturday afternoon, when she entered the specified diner, she found Sarah and Michael sitting close together like lovers. "I'm sorry, sis. But we can't turn back now." The shocking confession from Sarah's lips would shake Emily's life to its core. At the diner, Sarah announced the shocking news with a broad smile. "We're having a baby." Emily doubted her ears for a moment. Besides Sarah, Michael wore an apologetic expression. Everything seemed to fade away, the murmur of other customers, the sound of the jukebox playing in the distance. "You're joking, right?" "Of course not. That's why we wanted you to give up today." Sarah wore a triumphant expression as she wrapped her arm around Michael's. "Wait. Michael, what do you have to say about this?" Avoiding Emily's gaze, her fiancé responded to her question. "What choice do I have? She's pregnant, I have to take responsibility." "Responsibility? What about our engagement?" "Well, we weren't married yet, and we don't have any kids, so it should be fine. I'll apologize to your parents about the family meeting. And I've already canceled the wedding venue reservation. I was thinking of using it for my wedding with Sarah, but I guess that would be too soon." As these words kept coming, Emily felt dizzy. The glass of iced tea in front of her trembled in her shaking hands. "We'll pay for the venue cancellation fee, but we thought you should chip in too, sis. After all, you two made the reservation, right?" Emily couldn't help but raise her voice at Sarah's words. "Are you kidding me? You betray me and then expect me to pay the cancellation fee. Other customers turned to look. Sarah lowered her voice and said, "Sis, you don't have to shout." "Hey, Michael, am I wrong?" "No, you just got excited." "I never said I was a pilot." That statement made Emily freeze. Pilot? Yes, when I heard Michael was a pilot, I was so attracted to him. Emily slowly raised her head. "I'm the pilot." "What?" Sarah's expression froze. Michael pulled his arm away from her and created some distance. "Wait, what do you mean?" "Michael is just a maintenance engineer." "That's what he's always said." "That he works in aviation." But I've been bragging to everyone about having a pilot boyfriend." Sarah's face rapidly turned pale. Michael frantically began making excuses. "You just assumed." "I never said I was a pilot." "Shut up." Sarah's scream echoed through the restaurant. "You deceived me. You assumed it yourself. I couldn't say anything because of you." Emily quietly stood up. Facing the two confused people, she spoke in a calm voice. "I have something to ask you. Are you really pregnant?" At that question, Sarah's expression crumbled for a moment. "Well, show me proof." "Not yet." Emily took out an envelope from her bag. It bore the logo of a detective agency. "What are these photos? Can you explain?" The envelope contained decisive evidence, photographs of Sarah and Michael's secret meetings. The two entering a luxury hotel, their rendezvous at restaurants, and intimate moments not posted on social media. All with dates clearly recorded. "No way, you were investigating me." "Of course. My fiancé having an affair with my sister. What did you expect?" "Affair? You weren't even married yet." "An engagement is a legal promise. And the pregnancy is a lie, isn't it?" Sarah stood up from her chair and shouted. "That doesn't matter. You've always been ahead of me, always praised by our parents. I thought I'd finally won this time." The restaurant fell silent. Michael covered his face with his hands, hanging his head. "Win or lose. You tried to steal my fiancé for something like that." Emily smiled sadly. "You know, Sarah, I've always envied you. Your beauty that captivates people, your social nature, your sense of fashion. But you never noticed your own good qualities, always focusing on me instead." "Shut up. I don't need a lecture from you." Sarah grabbed her belongings and ran out of the restaurant. Michael started to stand but was pushed back by Emily's cold gaze. "Will you forgive me?" "Now." I was ashamed of being a maintenance engineer." "What's shameful is your behavior. Isn't being an engineer a proud profession? Yet you looked down on your own work, lied. Our relationship was wrong from the start." Emily quietly stood up and placed money from her wallet on the table. "Never appear before me again." As she left the restaurant, the spring twilight was gently coloring Chicago's streets. Emily sighed deeply and took out her smartphone. A lawyer's office number was already displayed on the screen. In a room of a high-rise building in Chicago's premier business district, the Loop, Emily sat on a law firm's sofa, listening to attorney Jessica Morrison's explanation. While compensation claims for broken engagements aren't as common as post-marriage infidelity cases, you have plenty of grounds in your situation. Attorney Morrison continued her explanation while reviewing the evidence Emily had submitted. First, we have clear evidence of a formal engagement, the family meeting, the purchase of an engagement ring, and the wedding venue reservation with deposit. Furthermore, we have decisive evidence of infidelity between your sister and former fiancé. But Sarah insists it's not infidelity since we weren't married. That's her arbitrary interpretation. An engagement is a legal commitment, and breaking it requires just cause. Especially when it involves infidelity with your own sister. Attorney Morrison paused for a moment, looking at Emily with sympathetic eyes. To be honest, this is an extremely malicious case. Using a fake pregnancy to force an engagement termination shows premeditated betrayal. The discussion moved on to setting specific amounts. The claim against Michael would consider mental damages from the broken engagement, wedding venue cancellation fees, and engagement ring costs. The claim against Sarah would include mental damages for stealing her sister's fiancé, with additional compensation for the false pregnancy report. Before going to court, let's try for a settlement. When they see the amounts, they should take this seriously. When Emily left the office, Chicago's streets were bathed in orange twilight. Her smartphone showed over 20 unread messages from Sarah, but she headed straight home without opening them. A few days later, Sarah received a certified letter. Her scream upon opening it reportedly echoed throughout her apartment building. "There's no way I can pay this amount." Sarah rushed to her parents' home seeking help. However, their response wasn't what she had expected. "You must reap what you sow." Her father's voice was stern. "Do you understand how much you hurt Emily? A sister stealing her sister's fiancé. We never raised you to be like this." Her mother sighed deeply as she looked at her daughter. "But I don't have any savings." "Oh? Weren't you buying new designer brands every week? If you had that kind of money, you could have saved some." Sarah broke down crying at her parents' cold attitude. But her tears no longer worked. Meanwhile, Michael faced serious issues at work. Word of his infidelity with his fiancée's sister and his dismissive comments about being a maintenance engineer had reached his colleagues' ears. "We can't trust important aircraft to someone who's ashamed of being an engineer." Senior engineers looked at him coldly. Pilots too began avoiding him out of sympathy for Emily. In the aviation industry where teamwork is crucial, Michael's position rapidly deteriorated. To make matters worse, Sarah caused a scene by bursting into the workplace. "Why did this happen? You've ruined my life." Sarah's screams echoed through the airport terminal as security escorted her out. This incident dealt a final blow to Michael's reputation. Eventually, both had to agree to a settlement. Sarah was forced to quit her job and took on multiple part-time positions to gradually pay the compensation. Kicked out of her parents' home, she started living alone in a cheap apartment in the suburbs. Michael also left the company and tried to start fresh at another airline. However, the aviation industry is small, and his reputation had already reached his new workplace. Emily carried on with her daily life matter-of-factly. The sky always healed her wounded heart. The sea of clouds viewed from the cockpit gave her quiet solace. One day, a fellow pilot approached her. "You've been through a lot. But you handled it right. We female pilots are still a minority. That's why we need to maintain a firm stance." Emily smiled and replied, "Yes, it's all life experience. But I won't look back anymore. I still have so many skies to fly." The Chicago evening sky was painted in a deeper red than usual. One day, a year after the incident, Emily was piloting a flight from Chicago to Los Angeles. At 36,000 feet, she smiled inwardly as she gazed from the clear sky above. The company had approached her about a promotion to become a pilot on Asian routes. It was an opportunity to start a new life based in San Francisco, leaving Chicago behind. She had already discussed it with her parents. "Go, Emily. You belong in bigger skies," her mother had said, with her father nodding deeply in agreement. Meanwhile, Sarah's life had changed dramatically. Once working at a luxury brand store, she now juggled jobs as a cashier at a suburban supermarket and overnight shifts at a fast food restaurant. She hadn't even paid half of the settlement amount. "Sarah, late again." That's the third time. Being reprimanded by the supermarket manager had become routine. Her former glamorous lifestyle now seemed like a distant dream. She had deleted her social media accounts, and contact with old friends had naturally faded away. Catching her reflection in a mirror, she saw herself in a cheap uniform with no makeup. Yet, in this past year, she had finally learned to face herself for the first time. Her relationship with her parents remained unrepaired. Though she occasionally received messages from her mother, she wasn't allowed to return home. You need to learn that actions have consequences. Keep working on your own until you understand that. Michael's life had taken unexpected turns as well. Though he started working at a new airline, his past continued to haunt him. He met a young female engineer and quickly grew close to her. "I've always admired experienced engineers like you, Michael." Her innocent words captivated him. However, it didn't take long for her to discover his past through social media. "I can't believe you're this kind of person. Never show up in front of me again." Eventually, Michael left the aviation industry and switched to ground-based work. Ironically, he now works at a small-town auto repair shop. "My dreams of the sky are over." He mutters this while occasionally looking up at Chicago's sky. They say he thinks of Emily every time he sees contrails. Emily decided to transfer to San Francisco. A new life in a new city, and a position as chief pilot on Asian routes, recognition of her abilities. On moving day, her parents came to see her off at the airport. "Take care, Emily." Her mother wiped away tears while her father watched his daughter proudly. "I remember that little girl who said she wanted to be a pilot. You never strayed from your path since then. Thank you, Mom, Dad. Her parents watched as Emily walked toward the boarding gate. Her new life in San Francisco brought Emily new encounters. She met David, a physician specializing in aviation medicine, and they developed a gentle romance. I truly respect your work. Emily felt at ease with David's sincere gaze. One day, Emily unexpectedly received an email from Sarah. Sis, I think I'm changing, little by little. I haven't paid off the settlement yet, but I will definitely pay the full amount. And I'm sorry. I'm truly, deeply sorry. Though Emily didn't reply, she quietly wished for her sister's growth. Above the Pacific Ocean, Emily continues to pilot large aircraft today. The sunset viewed from above the clouds always holds a special beauty. Ladies and gentlemen, we're expecting clear skies ahead. Please continue to enjoy your safe journey. After finishing her cabin announcement, Emily gripped the control yoke. She had learned many times in life that there's always clear sky after a storm. Ahead lies yet unexplored skies. Emily's journey continues toward new heights.